Welcome to the World News, interesting stories around the globe just for you. I'm Randolf Jamias here in Naypyidaw. Heading our news today, Philippine President Benigno Aquino met Australian Prime Minister Julia Gillard in Canberra on Wednesday at the start of a 4-day state visit to boost bilateral relations. Aquino and Gillard are expected to discuss strengthening security and strategic ties after the Philippine Senate recently ratified the Status of Visiting Forces Agreement with Australia. The agreement allows Australian troops, ships, and aircraft to take part in joint defense exercises in the Philippines. Aquino leaves Canberra on Thursday when he is expected to head to Sydney. Meanwhile, flash floods are ravaging some parts of the northern Turkey. We head to Lüleburgaz to find out more.
Flash floods hit the northern Turkish city of Lüleburgaz. 3 were reported dead as heavy rainfall triggered the fierce waters on Tuesday. The downpour stranded cars and dragged belongings from flooded houses onto the streets, while local shops were left underwater. Farmers began to tally the cost of the floods to their livelihoods, with one man telling reporters he had lost around 90% of his sheep. The nearby Lüleburgaz-Çorlu highway was also closed to traffic for 7 hours due to the torrential rain.
They say prevention is better than cure. Cubans started preparing on Tuesday for the onslaught expected from Tropical Storm Sandy, which could be a hurricane by the time it reaches Cuba. National meteorologist Dr. Jose Rubiera explained the likely scenario on state television. In the central province of Camagüey, residents cleaned rivers in anticipation of flooding. And in the eastern province of Granma, authorities met to discuss necessary measures to prepare for the storm. Sandy is expected to dump as much as 6 to 12 inches of rain across parts of Jamaica, Haiti, the Dominican Republic, and eastern Cuba, with as much as 20 inches possible in some places, forecasters said. It's time for us to acknowledge some of the world's finest artists in different fields. Japan is hosting the event to award and praise the recipients at the annual Premium Imperial Awards. Let's take a look.
Renowned artists from America, Europe, and Asia gathered in Tokyo for the annual Premium Imperial Awards ceremony, one of the most prestigious cultural honors in the world. The Japan Art Association awarded 5 global artists in the field of painting, sculpture, architecture, music, and film or theater. This year's recipients are Chinese painter Saigo Chang, remembered by the Japanese for his 2008 performance of Black Fireworks, Project for Hiroshima. Danish architect Henning Larsen, acclaimed as the master of light with his light-filled architecture style. Artist Cecco Bonanotte, one of Italy's most prominent sculptors. American Philip Glass, a prolific composer best known for his opera Einstein on the Beach. And Yoko Morishita, the first Japanese ballet dancer to flourish on the international scene. Laureates each receive a prize of 15 million yen, or 188,000 US dollars, for their lifetime achievement in their respective field of art.
For the next story, we will come up close to the narrowest house in the world. Let's find out what could be interesting in this rather uncomfortable dwelling in Warsaw, Poland.
This is the world's narrowest house located in Warsaw, Poland. Guess the gap between the 2 buildings. It's a real house. When you enter through a door that's about as wide as the house itself, a staircase leads up to the 2nd floor of the residence. The structure is about 120 centimeters or 47 inches at its widest point, and 71 centimeters or 28 inches at its narrowest. Feels restrictive? Well, that's the intention, so invited guests will know what it feels like to live in a surrounding that restricts your every motion. The project's PR manager, Maciej Kowinski, has already spent a few days here and says he's learned to adapt.
You can get used to it, you know. The kitchen is extremely small. It's really small and not comfortable. I have bruises, you know, on my head because of the shelves above the kitchen, you know.
Bruises from taking a shower and cooking? Not my idea of a dream house. But a string of artists will stay here to explore their surroundings, starting with Israeli writer Edgar Keret.
Let's shift gear and go to the movies. Daniel Craig returns as James Bond in the 23rd installment of the 007 series, which has its world premiere in London later on Tuesday. Skyfall is the actor's third time as the British secret agent. The movie sees Bond's allegiance to M, played by Dame Judi Dench, challenged as her past comes back to haunt her. After turning down a past offer to play opposite Bond, Javier Bardem appears as the villain. Skyfall opens in UK theaters on October 26th and in the US on November 9th. The 22 Bond films have to date amassed $5.1 billion at the worldwide box office, according to latest survey. The last film, Quantum of Solace, grossed nearly $600 million globally. The film, produced by privately held studio MGM, will be distributed in the UK by Sony Pictures Entertainment and in the US by Columbia Pictures, both units of Sony Corporation.
Q707. I want to meet your employer.
How much do you know about affairs?
All there is.
Not like this.
Just look at you, chasing spies. England. MI6. Resurrection.
A must-see movie. Turning now to sports, holder Petra Vitova was stunned at the WTA Championships on Tuesday with a defeat that later reduced her to tears, while Serena Williams and Maria Sharapova began their campaigns in top form at the end-of-season competition. Sixth seed Vitova was toppled 6-3, 6-2 by Poland's Agnieszka Radwanska in a contest that saw the Czech commit 41 unforced errors to only 5 from her opponent in the round-robin competition featuring the world's top 8 women. Williams eased to a 6-4, 6-1 victory against Germany's Angelique Kerber, while French Open champion Sharapova beat Italy's Sara Errani 6-3, 6-2. Vitova had trouble keeping the ball in court off the ground, while fourth-seeded Radwanska put on a smart performance, easily moving her opponent out of position. Third-seed Williams did not appear nervous at all, despite playing for the first time since winning the title in New York. The American proved against fifth-seeded Kerber as she sent down her booming big serves and took control of the action from the ground. Number 2 seed Sharapova hit 22 forehand winners against Errani in a rematch of the French Open final, which Russian won by the same scoreline. On Wednesday, Williams meets China's Lena, top seed Victoria Azarenka of Belarus plays Kerber, and Sharapova faces Radwanska. Thanks for watching. We'll be back shortly. Please stay with me.